Hey, what is up, everybody? Today I'm gonna do a cool video that I've been meaning to do for a while. This is gonna be a new series on my channel. It's gonna be called "The History of Whatever Band is in the Video." But today, to start off the series, I'm gonna do the history of my personal favorite band, Judas Priest. Formed in 1969, obviously one of the biggest heavy metal bands ever, one of the most influential, and just in my opinion, the best heavy metal band. In like my own personal opinion. But yeah, today I'm just gonna go through the history of the albums and the history of the albums, just the history of the band, and going through from 19. Okay, I'm gonna start off with 1974 with their debut album, and then I'm going to go all the way to today, because nothing really happened up until their debut album. Like, I mean, they switched members and all that. Didn't release anything until 74, so that's where I'm going to start. So, this might be a little bit long. It's probably going to be at least, I don't know, it's going to be a while, because I'm actually going to go in depth. But first, to start off the video, we're going to look at the history of their debut album, Rock and Rolla. I got that CD box set thing, so this is where all the albums are mostly going to come from. This is going to be the whole history. That includes, Rob Halford leaving the band and Tim Ripper Owens coming in, the whole history. So first we start off with their debut album, Rock and Rolla. This was before they kind of found their sound. This was a mixture of kind of heavy blues. And sorry about the lighting, guys. Just the lighting makes my computer, like, here, see, you see how slower it is, kind of. And then once the light comes in, everything moves faster. So that's why I did that. But Rock and Rolla, their debut from 1974, kind of heavy blues rock. It's definitely one of my least favorite albums from them. Still an okay album. I mean, you got KK Downing and Glenn Tipton on guitars. You got Ian Hill on bass, obviously. Rob Halford on vocals, and John Hinch on drums. This is the only album to have him on drums. And again, it's a decent album. I mean, you got the title track, you got Never Satisfied, Run of the Mill, Dying to Meet You. It's a decent album. Not great though. But yeah, came out in 1974. They weren't really popular with this album. I mean, the album cover's okay. It's just like a soda cap. The reissue cover sucks. Yeah, but then it tells all the songs on there. It also tells the band members on each one of these. But yeah, in my opinion, I don't really consider this their debut that much. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it is their debut, but the next album, in my opinion, I think is their actual debut. But yeah, decent album. It's okay. It's just okay. Next up is what I consider their big debut, and this one is way better than the last one. One of my personal favorites, one of my fifth favorite album by them. We've got the almighty Sad Wings of Destiny. I love that album cover. Favorite tracks on it: The Ripper, Dreamer, Deceiver, Epitaph, Island of Domination. The whole album, in my opinion, is great. You always got KK Downing and Glenn Tipton on guitar still. You got Rob Halford on vocals. So you got Ian Hill. You got Ian Gillan. That's from Deep Purple. Ian Hill on bass, and then obviously on this you got Alan Moore on the drums. Really, really good album. This is whenever they really kind of found their sound in the heavy metal genre. This album isn't the heaviest thing, obviously, but it's for 1970. I think it was 75 or 76. I don't know. Let's see. I think it's like 1976. Yeah, it's 1976. So for its time, it was still pretty heavy, even though Black Sabbath was already around. But it's a good album though. Again, The Ripper, Dreamer, Deceiver, Epitaph, Victim of Changes. The whole album, in my opinion, is great. And it's a great album. Just look at that album cover. But yeah. I'm not trying to make this video super long, but if I have to, then I will. Next up in 1977, we come with another great album, another one of my favorites. We have got Sin After Sin. Album covers okay, nothing special. But Sinner is a good song. Diamonds and Rust, Starbreaker, just really good stuff. Obviously, this has Rob Halford on vocals still. It still has KK Downing and Glenn Tipton on guitars. It still has Ian Hill. And I'm pretty sure this still has the same bassist. I'm pretty sure. On this one, they don't tell you. On this case, for some reason. Yeah, but still, it is a good album in my opinion. Next up is another good album. We've got Killing Machine or Hellbent for Leather. Over in the U.S., it was called Hellbent for Leather because apparently Killing Machine at the time was too vulgar. So, but it was still called Killing Machine in the UK. And what I love about part of this box set is how it says Killing Machine right there, which I'm very happy about. But title track Hellbent for Leather, even though it's called Killing Machine, but it's also called Hellbent for Leather. You know what I mean. The green monolithy, I can't pronounce that. Deliver the Goods, Rock Forever, Evening Star. The whole album is good in my opinion. Rob Halford still on lead vocals, Glenn Tipton, KK Downing on guitars, Les Binks on drums, and Ian Hill on bass still. I mean, the only two original members who were still in the band are Ian Hill and Glenn Tipton. The ones that have been on every single album since Rock and Rolla. Yeah, good album. It's a good album. Next up, we come with Stained Class. This is like my second or third favorite Judas Priest album. Best from the 70s, definitely one of the best. But my favorite song on it is probably Beyond the Realms of Death. It's a kind of a power ballad, but the guitar solo is great from both Glenn and KK. The title track, Better by You, Better Than Me, their cover of the Spooky Tooth song, Exciter, White Heat, Red Hot, it's a great album in my opinion. And the album cover's pretty cool. Rob Halford's still on vocals on this. Ian Hill still on bass, KK Downing and Glenn Tipton are still on drums. I think Les Binks was still on here. I'm not for sure. And then we come to their live album that they did. This was actually their first album to ever hit the platinum mark. It is their platinum album, Unleashed in the East. It's got Rob Halford right there, the band, and it's got the other members right there. This is a live album they recorded in Japan, I believe, from like 78 or 79. In my opinion, the best live album of all time. They do live versions of Exciter, Running Wild, Sinner, The Ripper, Genocide, Tryant, Rock Forever. Just it's a good live album. If you want to hear something that's non-studio, just listen to this. It's a great live album. Yeah, Unleashed in the East in Japan. Next up, we come to an album that a lot of people consider their best. I don't think it's their best. I think it's probably maybe. I don't know, maybe they're shut up. That's my brother in the background, guys. My brother's a goof. Don't mind him. He keeps telling me I need to jump cut my videos. Comment down if you guys are okay with my videos the way they are, or if they need to be edited. Just comment down below. Anywho, this is probably their 9th or 10th best album, in my opinion, so not really high, but still top 10 for me. It is 1980s British Steel, iconic album, iconic cover, and it's a good album. I like it. It's not, it's not my number 1 or my number 2. You good, my man?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Rob Halford's still in vocals, Glenn and KK are still in, Ian's still in, and then they got Dave Holland on drums on this one. But yeah, it's got, Breaking the Law, which is like one of the most iconic songs. You don't have to be old to be wise. Steeler, The Rage, Living After Midnight, Grinder. Grinder's probably my favorite. Rapid Fire, Metal Gods, which is where they got the nickname, the Metal Gods. And then all these come with bonus tracks, by the way, that you can't get on the actual albums. But yeah, this is a good album. Maybe my number 9 or 10, maybe even my 11, maybe. But yeah, it's a good album. British Steel, 1980. Next we come to 1981 with Point of Entry. Album cover sucks, and so does the other one. There was 2 album covers for this. Both of them suck. If I was to say which one I like better, probably this one. Honestly, the biggest song on this was probably Heading Out to the Highway, but there's so much more. There's Don't Go, Hot Rockin', Turning Circles, Desert Plains. Just the whole album's good. And then on this, it's pretty much the same lineup as British Steel. Dave Holland on drums, Ian Hill on bass, KK Downing, Glenn Tipton on guitars, and Rob Halford on vocals, obviously. And Rob Halford's my favorite vocalist of all time, so yeah. You Say Yes, All the Way, Troubleshooter, some bonus tracks on here too. It's a good album. It'd probably be like my number, I don't know, maybe my number 11 or 12, maybe. Actually, yeah, around there. I still like it, though. It's a really good album. And then here is my favorite Judas Priest album. And I mean my favorite Judas Priest album. Screaming for Fucking Vengeance. If you are a fan of heavy metal and don't like this album, you need to go and die. You need to burn. This should be an album that every metalhead is into. I mean, dude, it starts off with a great track, the Helion, and then, it's obviously, it's a 2-part track, the Helion / Electrify is a 2-part track. But, dude, it's so great. I mean, I count them as one, even though they're, like, 2 separate tracks. But anyway, then there's Riding on the Wind, which is probably my favorite. I don't know. Obviously there's Pain and Pleasure, the title track. You Got Another Thing Coming is, like, the most popular song. Still good. Devil's Child Fever. It's just a great album. And look at that album cover. Look at it. How do you not like the album cover? Yeah, still, it's got Rob Halford on here. It's still got Rob Halford, Glenn, and KK. And it's also still got Ian. And it's also still got, whatever his freaking name was, Dave Holland. Next up, we come to one of my other favorites by Judas Priest, and my cat is bothering me. I'll show you guys her. Here, come here. Come here. Here she is. If you're going to bother me, can you at least say hi? Okay, thank you. She likes to bother me a lot. It's okay. I get used to it. Anyway, we got Defenders of the Faith from 1984, I believe. Yes, 1984. Free Will Burning, a great opening track in my opinion. Jawbreaker is a great song. Rock Hard, Ride Free, The Sentinel, Love Bites. Just the whole album is great, and the album cover is pretty cool too. Yeah, still, it's got pretty much, it's got the same lineup as the other albums. It's still got Dave Holland on drums, the 2 guitarists, Glenn Tipton, KK Downing, Rob Halford on vocals, and Ian Hill on bass. So yeah, it's a great album in my opinion. Definitely a top 5. Probably my number 4. Next up, we come to a hated album, but not by me. I personally love this album. I think I might like it a little bit more than British Steel, in my opinion. But next up, we got Turbo. I fucking love this album. I had to fart a little bit there. I love this album. I mean, dude, Turbo Lover is an awesome song. Locked In is my favorite, probably. Wild Nights, Hot and Crazy Days, Hot for Love, Reckless, Rock You All Around the World. The whole album is great. And I'm going to stop telling you the members on the albums because, I mean, it's something that, you pretty much everyone knows and that you can just easily look up. But dude, I mean, album is great. Definitely in my top 10. Turbo is a great album. Don't care what you say. Then we come to their first double album. Well, it's okay. It's a double live album. It's a live album, but it's a double album, and I kind of hate the way this case is, because you have to like go right here, and then you gotta kind of bend the case a little bit to get it out. But yeah, in my opinion, it's not the greatest live album ever. It's definitely nowhere near as good as Unleashed in the East. It's still a good live album though. I mean, it's got so much songs. That's why it had to be double disc. In my opinion, would it be top 10 live albums of all time? No, maybe top 20 though. Yeah, it's a good live album though. Priest Live, Judas Priest. Next up, we come to 1988's Raymond Down. I think of it as, not an underrated album, but a little bit overlooked. A lot of people don't like it, and, I think it's a good album, other than the atrocious pile of garbage that is the Johnny B. Good cover. I don't know, I'd probably say it's the worst song they ever done, or at least one of the worst. I don't know what to think about it. It's not that good of a cover, no. And it was the only music video that they made for this album. But, there's the title track, and there's Heavy Metal, Love Zone, Come and Get It, Hard as Iron. I think the album's great, in my opinion, other than the atrocious cover of Johnny B. Good. Next up, we come to 1990 with one of my favorites, probably like my fifth favorite, probably my fourth or fifth favorite album by them. We got Painkiller. This is probably the heaviest. Okay, with the stuff they've done with Rob Halford, this is probably the heaviest album, because I'll get to what their heaviest album is in a minute. But this is one of their heaviest albums, probably their second heaviest album. The album cover is probably the best album cover they ever did. Obviously, the title track and Hell Patrol are great, but also All Guns Blazing, Leather Rebel. It's just a great album, in my opinion. And then stuff happens. Rob Halford leaves the band after this. He forms other bands, like Fight and Halford and all that. During this time, they recruit, early Iced Earth vocalist Tim River Owens. And he does 2 albums with them. He did Jugulator, which I kind of like, and they also did Demolition, which is my least favorite Judas Priest album, but still, it's actually kind of a good album. I farted there. Sorry, I'm having stomach issues. But basically, Demolition is definitely Jugulator. Jugulator is a good album. Album cover's cool. Got some really good songs. Came out in '97. And then there's Demolition, which is probably my least favorite album by them. But, it's got some good songs, like Bloodsuckers is a great song, one of my favorite, probably top 15 Judas Priest songs. Machine Man. I think the album has some good tracks, but it's not a great album, And I unfortunately don't have those 2, but I will in the future. Next up, we come to 2004, and this is the big return of Rob Halford with Angel of Retribution. Obviously, this has some really good songs on. This is one of the best comebacks, in my opinion, of vocals. Deal with the Devil, Revolution, Judas Rising, and dude, look at the album cover. It's just good, man. But yeah, that was the return of Rob Halford. KK, Downing, Glenn Tipton still in, Ian Hill still in. And then you can look up everything else. And next we come to their first double studio album, an album that I used to not like at all, but I've kind of grown on, a little bit. That's Nostradamus. I've kind of grown on it a little bit. Obviously, it's named after the famous. I'm pretty sure he was a scientist. I don't know. He might have been but his name was Nostradamus. And this is a double album. I saw a vinyl of this going for eBay for like, sheesh, I think it was like $200. Yeah, I mean, this has some good songs on it, like Solitude, Exile, The Lone, Shadows in the Flame, Visions. I think it's actually a good album, in my opinion. Yeah, it's not the greatest thing ever. Like, there's some filler on it, but in my opinion, I like it. And then next we come to, I believe this is a live album. Yeah, it's a live album. We got A Touch of Evil. This has a lot of live stuff, like Judas Rising, Between the Hammer and the Anvil, Riding on the Wind. Just a lot of good stuff on this live album. Yeah. And then in 2000 and then comes 2011, KK Downing unfortunately exits the band and they bring in a new member. I forgot his name. You can look it up. I forgot his name, but he comes in, and in 2014 they released Redeemer of Souls, which I don't have right now, but I will. It's a good album in my opinion. Wouldn't be in my top 10, I don't think, but still, like, probably like my number 12. It's still a good album in my opinion. I mean, the album cover's cool, and it came out in 2014, and I think it's great in my opinion. And then in 2018, we got Firepower, which I do have. People say that this is like one of their best albums. This is probably, some people say this is better than Painkiller. I'd probably put it like number 13 maybe. Great album though, like a great album. Like, I mean, the title track is great. Lightning Strike, my favorite. Guardians, Rising from Ruins, Flamethrower. I mean, you just can't go wrong with this album, in my opinion. That's pretty much the history of Judas Priest in a short summary. Is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that's gonna be it, guys, and I'll see you guys next time with more videos like this. Peace out.